Hey everyone, Joey Ragona here, and I just wanted to do this another progress interview. And I do these calls because I just want to let you know what's happening with people just like you that are getting started, that are in the journey, kind of getting to where they want to get to. And a lot of testimonials that we see online, they're based on, where people have ended up, the end result. And I love those. Those are all great. And there's nothing wrong with those type of, interviews. But what I really find is that there's a disconnect a lot of times when you're figuring out where you want to go and you want to talk to more like-minded people that are in the journey the same way as you are, in the same boat, and how those people are actually getting through the pitfalls, because there's always those break points in the journey. Things don't always work out as planned, and as we'll hear from Tyler in a little bit later on with his some of the things that he's going through. And I just want to introduce you to students like Tyler, and clients who are at different parts of their journey, and they're building the business. So it helps motivate you and inspire you in your own business to continue on that journey. So today, like I said, I've got Tyler. Again, how do you pronounce your last name, brother?
No worries. Soulliere. So it's French, but it just doesn't sound French.
Soulliere. Yeah, I would never have attempted that on my own. So it's Tyler, and he's a successful real estate investor, and he's also won the Investor of the Year award with the Canadian Real Estate Magazine. Congrats on that.
No, thank you. Yeah, a couple of years ago, but yeah, that was quite a journey getting that award. Actually, still obviously surprising when I won that. Anyways.
Yeah. But that was when you won that award, you were relatively new in the industry, weren't you?
You know what? It was. Yeah, I think it was really kind of my first 2 years of just investing, really learning as I went. One of those guys that just fell into investing in real estate and loved it.
Yeah.
And really just learning as much as I could as I was going through the whole, building my portfolio, right? Just, yeah, it's quite a process. So, but it put me on a path to kind of be where I am today, which is great. So, but there was, like any business, a lot of little kinks you got to iron out over the years to kind of get it to run, like I say, on autopilot, which was what was always my goal. So now it does, but, yeah, you got to put in the work like any business starting out, right? You got to work, and then eventually you get paid. So that was good time. And now I don't buy as many properties, but yeah, that was something else. So I was happy with that.
Awesome. And so here we are today. You're part
Yes.
of the Strategic Profit Lab, and you're building out a course, or you've got a course that you're offering. And you want to get it out there to more people. Is that right?
Yes. So I've kind of taken my knowledge, like most people, and you're trying to share your experiences, your knowledge with other people because I saw real estate as a great way to kind of give me the lifestyle I wanted. So it's kind of one of those, let's teach other people, right? So that's what led me to, one day meeting up with someone who said, why don't you put a nice little online course together? So I've done that. I've got some mini courses that I also offer, and then I'm slowly going to venture hopefully into one-on-one coaching or maybe group coaching, something that matter, just to keep letting other people know of the benefits of investing in real estate. And doing that is also what led me to you, Joey, in the Strategic Profit Lab in terms of marketing, which is number one with businesses is how do you market something like that, right? So how do you get it out to people who don't know who you are and who don't, trust you, right? So that's kind of where I am today, and taking great strides and really trying to just spread the word through what I've learned with you so far. And yeah, it's not an easy journey. There's still lots to learn, but so far it's been very good. But it's just I don't know if you want to if you want me to keep talking, or do you want to chime in? Really,
No,
I guess.
well, what I'll do is it kind of
Yeah.
sounds like you already answered. Like the first question I want to ask you really is, you kind of touched on it already. I want you to really describe what your situation was before joining Strategic Profit Lab. Like, what was life like? What was business like before that?
Okay, yeah. So there you go. I was wondering if there's a question I should be answering here. Yeah, it's really kind of when you are, investing in real estate, marketing way different, right? So now it's kind of, how do I take all this noise out there, right? There's so much information. When I first was like, all right, I have this course, let's run Facebook ads. Facebook ads are insane. There's Google ads. There's YouTube. There's just so much. Now Facebook ads are great, but really it's not as simple, right? So I've bought so many courses. Spent thousands of dollars. You buy a course, you go through it, and it's just usually it's kind of like you just said in your introduction. It's, oh, here I am today. Okay, well, where did you start? And I tell the same thing to people with real estate investing. You always hear the same thing. Well, here I am today with 50 properties or 100 properties. Well, how did you get there, right? You want to know the process. So yours was really the first one that came across where I was kind of like, okay, you kind of start from the bottom and you work your way up from scratch, right? Because it was just so much information to take in. Everyone's got a method that works, but when you try it, it just never works. Now, there's a lot more involved is versus just running Facebook ads, which I've learned quickly. So you build out a course and then you learn, well, how's your funnel? And I remember going, well, what's a funnel? Oh, you got to put them through a funnel, an email funnel. Okay, so you build that out, right? And then it's like, well, but then you got to worry about, okay, you still got to get people in that funnel. So then that's what takes you back to, now you got to run Facebook ads. But how do you run Facebook ads? And then, well, you have to have great headlines, and you have to have great copy, and then you got to have the right target audience. And it's honestly like, it's so overwhelming and everyone's telling you what to do, but no one's really telling you what to do, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
It was very eye-opening when we had that call, and you said it earlier, like about your audience, and I keep hearing about this audience. Finally, you're like, well, who are you really targeting? And it was kind of like, well, successful business people with money. And you kind of dug deeper, and I remember getting a little frustrated, like,
Yeah.
Okay, and finally we dug deeper, and I was like, oh, okay, so you really got to start focusing. But these are the things that you're the first person that's ever really like talked to me and asked the right questions. And the biggest thing about that was it made me ask the right questions, because really there's so much going on and so many people telling you, and all these ads on Facebook. You say, hey, buy this course, but until you really know what your problem is, you don't know what question to ask. And you're the first person to really, here's my problem, and I asked the right question, and you helped me. So that
Cool.
was huge. And now, like there's still so much more to learn, but now I've got new questions, right questions to ask, where
Based
you
on
can
what we talked
now
about.
give me answers to. Whereas before, yeah, I knew I had problems, but I didn't know how to ask the right questions. So that was really, really great. And yeah, now it's gonna, puts me on the path to further moving down the road to where I want to get my business, right? So
Yeah.
I've now kind of figured out, okay, now I've really got to sit down and narrow my target audience down. But now I'm going to ask you some more questions, probably on the next call. Okay, what do we got to work on next, right? So
Yep.
that's really great, and that's something that honestly is priceless. It was I couldn't believe, you wouldn't even want to know how much I spent on courses, and then here I am working with you, and I wish I would have found you in the beginning. Let's put it that way.
Thank you, man. I appreciate those comments, and this is kind of why I do these progress reports, for people to understand that there are, like you said, there's so many quote unquote solutions out there, and I'm not knocking any of them.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to actually go through all of that stuff for you guys, so I can shortcut that and ask the right questions. So that's one of my superpowers, is jumping into someone's life, or we're on the journey, and asking the question of where they're at right now. And sometimes we need, as you just found out, or we found out a couple of weeks ago in the last call, was that we needed to go backwards for you and figure out your audience, and then we're going to move forward. And what I find is a lot of programs are built on, okay, start at module 1 or start at step 1, whatever that is. And sometimes people don't need step 1. They're already in step 3 or whatever. And so what Strategic Profit Lab is really about is, how do I help Tyler on his individual journey? Where is he at? And that is what I really want to stress to anybody who's watching this, about the differences between this coaching program and any other coaching program. Not knocking any other coaching program, because sometimes people need to start at square one and work their way up.
Right.
But from where you are where you knew what a Facebook ad was. You didn't need to know really what a pixel was or anything like that, or certain situations you don't need to go through those foundational pieces. We could kind of go back to it and talk a little bit about it, maybe tweak things if it wasn't right. But you know what I mean? Like it wasn't a modular type of I guess, entry point into what we were doing. And I'm putting words into your mouth. Is that basically what you felt when you came into this? Like when you joined,
Yep.
what started to happen at that point? Like what did the process look like for you?
Um, I guess the whole process was really like you said. I knew how to do Facebook ads, but I just wasn't really comfortable with still running them, right? Because they are confusing. Your online training, probably the most in-depth ones I've seen. I've never even heard of dynamic ads.
Okay.
And you put it together so simple, and now I'm using them, and those are huge, and I think that's something new that Facebook just offered, but something I would never even be comfortable using. So that was awesome, because like you said, you're going through all the training, you're staying up to date on all this Facebook, and I know we're always on Facebook, but it's obviously a great way
Yeah.
to target and market on. But yeah, like that's something I would never have came across to even try using. But your training and you being on top of it, it's just right there to help me, further progress to what I need to market my online course and market my business, right? So that's kind of, yeah, you put words in my mouth, but that's exactly it. It's just been it's like more in-depth training, I guess, how you would say it. I don't know how else you'd want to put it, I guess.
Right, right. And so, like, let me ask you this way: how comfortable are you on a scale of 1 to 10 to kind of just jump on a call and not be worried about the question in terms of, is this a dumb question or a beginner question, or is he going to be able to jump in and answer this question for me? Like in other words, like you were just comfortable on a, like how comfortable are you just going, you know what, I'm just going to come in here and ask where I'm at right now, and he's going to be able to answer this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate that, 10 being the highest?
Yeah, I mean, you're almost at a 10. I know it's going to sound cliche, right? What am I going to say here, Joey? But yeah, I've never done that really with anyone before, any type of coaches where we could jump on a call. And I love that whole process. I think one-on-one coaching is the only way to really improve yourself. I had it for my real estate investing career. It took me to the next level.
Yep.
That's why I'm looking myself to offer it to people who want more, because you just need to talk to somebody. You got to pick their brain. You got to be able to ask the dumb question, because those are the questions you need answers to. And a training program, as helpful as it is, having that extra, hey, Joey, like, yeah, this is a dumb question, but I don't get this. And you
Yep.
being able to, answer it. And it's very helpful. It's honestly like the best help you can have when you're trying to learn something. It's just that access to someone to ask them a question.
Awesome. You probably already answered this in all this the conversation we've had up to now, but I'm going to officially ask you, like,
Yeah.
how has this process helped you since the beginnings, like since you've joined? And first of all, like, how long have you been in strategic profit lab? It hasn't been long.
No,
How
I
long?
think 2 months, maybe three. I know that
Really?
there's been about 6 calls almost, so every 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So I
Okay. I
think we're
thought it was
almost
a
on.
little bit longer. So let's call it 3 months.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
just want
I think
everybody
it is.
that's listening now to know, like, it's only been 3 months. So, like, how has the process helped you in these 3 months?
Uh, it's just really nice to have to learn it versus um, and it's not that hard to learn. It's just really just taking the time to learn it. So the whole process is very easy going in terms of just trying to figure out where you're at, what you need to, what you want to get out of it. So I there's so many things that I was always jumping around trying to fix. Some of the previous company I had hired to run all my Facebook ads, they kept blaming the copy, my landing page copy, and I was paying them 2,000 a month, and
Oh my God.
I got a bunch of leads, and we went through this. My leads were not good leads, right? So so it was one of those, okay, well, I can learn this stuff, instead of paying another company, but I got to find someone who can teach me it. And I came across you, and it was just kind of very, very easy to really understand and teach myself what I needed to know, because I knew it wasn't the copy. I just knew it was just more or less, you got to learn, so you're not paying someone to just throwing away money, right? You got to learn what your problem is, and by joining your lab, it was like, okay, now I know what my problem is. It's not really the my funnel or the copy. It was more just like, now I'm realizing it was my target audience, and from there it kind of just, it's going to progress to where what else I need to tweak, really. So that's what's awesome. So it's kind of like, whereas it was just one big like circle of, I don't know, misinformation and confusion. Now it's like pillars. Like, all right, here's my ad copy, here's my Facebook ads, here's my target audience, here's my funnel. So it really helps break it apart so that I can focus on certain things and not jump all over the board. So that's, I guess, I guess how you would say how the progress has been since I've joined is it's really just kind of categorized this whole online marketing game system, whatever you want to call it, and how you can learn it yourself. You just gotta just know the pillars and know the categories.
Yeah, because what we do is we break down where the funnel, if you want to look at the funnel, if something's not working, what we do together is, by asking questions, is figure out where's the broken piece, and not playing the blame game of going, well, that's wrong or this wrong. Like maybe there is something wrong within the funnel, but by asking the right questions, we know what to fix first before we're saying, well, I've got no results. I've got no opt-ins over here. But then we start, like, let's look at a Facebook ad, for example, and you're saying, well, there's no opt-ins. So the first question is are people clicking on the ad? Right.
Yeah,
And that's the very first logical question. And if people aren't clicking on the ad, then we know that something is wrong with the ad. Right. And we've probably gone through this, and it's really one of three things. It's the headline, it's the copy, or it's the picture. Right. And what do we do? And if we decide that that's true, then we say to ourselves, okay, well, let's start by changing the pictures, because that's the most obvious thing. That's the first thing people see, right? So
yeah,
you might run a dynamic ad and test two different pictures and leave everything else the same, and
right.
run that for like 5 or 6 days and report back to me and say, Joey, this is what happened. Nothing really changed. Okay, now we know it was really not the picture, right? So we kind of break things down into a process that goes, let's fix what's really broken and do it in a systematical process way.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Everything's a system, but at least
Everything's a system
I
if you
can
know
see.
what to look for.
Yeah, and I could, I'm building a system. Before your course, I wasn't building a system. It was just, scatter, trying everything, just throwing darts at a dartboard kind of thing. Right? Your strategic profit lab is helps you create a system. That's what it
Thank you,
does.
man. So let me ask you this: what else have you been able to change going through the training and as a member of a Strategic Profit Lab so far?
I pretty much, looked at different. I know we touched on. I remember when I first joined was our funnel, and making sure I'm targeting, making sure my lead magnet is relevant to to even my course, right? So that was one thing. You were like, well, your lead magnet's this, but it's what do you sell? And I was kind of like, oh yeah, I never really thought of that. You're just kind of. I was told to create a lead magnet of information that people would like and download, but it didn't really filter into to if I was trying to help them to my mini course, right? So that was kind of another eye opener that I quickly went and tweaked, and I was like, oh yeah, that's they're not even connected, right? It's like someone's gonna download X, but they got Z. It's like, how
Yep.
is that? So that was just really interesting, and I never thought of it. It was just kind of so probably one of my courses was they teach you the big stuff, like create a lead magnet, and then have them opt in, and then put them through an email sequence. It was just, it's always kind of, it's very hard to just get it, learn from the big picture. And I say the same thing with real estate investing. You just have to dive deeper, and working with you, having the access to you, of jumping on a call and put in the hot seat. That's how you get those answers, right? So that was something else that was very helpful. And yeah, you just start. I'm always jotting ideas down now, because I have some direction. That's basically kind of what it's really helped me do. It's giving me direction on what I need to work on, but it
Awesome.
takes time. Yeah, this whole online marketing, it's a lot harder than I imagined at first, right? I thought I'd build a course and it would sell like hotcakes, but
Yeah.
it
Build it and
doesn't.
they'll come, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. So you got to get through the noise, and there's a lot of noise. So this has been um, this is the best way that I've come across to
Thank you, man.
really
Appreciate
help.
it.
So
So going through the program and the training that you have so far, that what would be the biggest part that's made the most impact on your business?
the biggest impact was really just learning. And I hate to go back to the Facebook ads. I know we touched on that quite a bit. Um, was just how you, and I said it already. You're up to date on everything that's going on with it. It's so easy to have to spend the time to learn it, or pay someone else that knows it already and runs their ads, or so they say, right? So that training was helpful. And the fact that it's part of your package. It's not a separate course. That's really cool, right? Like, it's just right there, and we've jumped on calls, and you're like, hey, did you go into the Facebook's ads? I always forget the title of it. I know where
Facebook
it is.
Ads Insiders.
Yeah,
Facebook Ad
it's like
Insiders. Yeah.
this is part of the program. Like, this is awesome. I'm like,
Yeah.
I thought I was, it was an upsell or something, right? And I jumped right in there, and there's so much information about a ton of stuff about Facebook, and the videos are great, right? You're sitting there, you're talking, and I can easily quickly email you if I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things. It's just nice to have to not just buy the course, and next thing you know, you're left in the dark, right? And then
Yeah.
that's it. So that was really one of the biggest helpful factors for me, was just having access to that training. Like, that's great that you provide that.
The extra training. Cool. That's awesome. So let me ask you this. One more question. I don't want to keep you forever here, but what would be your number one piece of advice for any other member in the group training membership, or people considering that they want to join Strategic Profit Lab?
Yeah, number one advice. How do I want to do this? I mean, there's so many things I already. The advice I would give someone looking to join, man, do I say, like, hopefully they find you first before they go and hire someone, or you can learn it yourself. And if you're gonna do it, hopefully they think to come to you. I don't know, the advice is, I've given so much advice, right? So I don't want to say the same thing twice.
Well, whatever comes to mind. I mean, if someone was, stopped you on the street and said, "Listen, I'm going to do a course. What do you think? What do you think I should do? What's the next step for you?" What would you tell them? Like, in terms of, leaning towards Strategic Profit Lab, what would you tell them then?
Yeah, if someone stopped me on the street and they had a bunch of courses, everything to join it, if they didn't offer some sort of strategic call, or they don't reply to your emails, or it's just a straight course, and they pitch it like, hey, go through my 6-week course, and you'll know how to run everything. Like, that one-on-one aspect is you need that's what I would tell somebody. So if those other courses this guy or this girl was looking to join didn't have that, I would say that don't even bother, right? Like, it's just not worth it. You need that. You need to ask questions. You need to have information, and you need to make sure they know what these people are talking about. So I like how you're always doing Facebook Live videos all the time on your YouTube Facebook page. So I mean, some people aren't in the game anymore, right? They're pitching their course they created 2 years ago. They're living the high life, right? You're in there. You're on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Make sure they're doing that. Like, so if this person's thinking of buying a course and they go to their Facebook page and there's nothing, I mean, well, then they're preaching but they're not in it anymore, right? So that's what I would tell this person. That's what I would say, like, as the best advice there. Like, you're on the ground floor, you're doing it, and you're teaching it, and that's what you have. You have to have someone that's doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely same way I feel with all the coaches that I have, because that's one of the big disconnects that I have with people that are major, successful people. I met, like, they're mentors of mine, or I look up to people like that, but there's also a disconnect that, you know, if somebody's making $1 million and I'm making 100,000, like, holy crap, like
Mhm.
it inspires me to get there. But sometimes I don't feel there's a connection there. But if a guy is making 50 grand and I'm making 100 grand, I can still talk to that level, right? I can still, I'm still connected to that market or to
Right.
that person. They understand what it was like to be there, and or still can go backwards. And that's what I think the um, biggest asset that I bring to Strategic Profit Lab. And the other thing is that, you know, one of the major I guess selling points that I'm trying to let people know about is the fact of overwhelm, taking that away from them, and that I spend all my time going through the dirt and through all of the stuff that's out there, the crap, and just only delivering the good stuff to
Right.
people, to like yourself, and basically trying to be that person that can answer almost any question about any program out there without trying to sound like I'm standing on a soapbox saying I know
Yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah.
But just being that source of reliability. That's why I asked you earlier on, I said, how comfortable are you coming into a situation where you can ask me pretty much anything and having the confidence that I can answer the question, knowing that if I don't know it, I'm not going to bullshit my way through it, right?
Yeah.
So
Very true. Yeah, you can't. No, you can't. No, you know your stuff, Joey. I mean, you definitely know your stuff. So it's been very helpful. So I
that's
really
awesome.
do obviously still appreciate it. And as we go forward, hopefully you don't get sick of all my questions.
Never, 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 never.
Yeah.
So, listen, thanks for putting up with all my questions today. It was an honor to sit with you and learn a little bit more about what's going on. Looking forward to helping you with your business, and maybe we're going to do another one of these. Well, I know we're going to do another one of these when you are another step in the journey, another milestone. So, we'll let people know where you're at and how far you've come.
Yeah. No, no, sounds great. No, I appreciate the time. You know, I love talking about this stuff. So this is it's something I want to keep learning more about because you need to know this stuff, right? So for my
Yeah.
business, it's been very helpful. So thank you, Joe.
You're welcome. Thanks, Tyler. Listen, everybody, if you are interested in Strategic Profit Lab, there's a link somewhere on this page that you can click and learn more about Strategic Profit Lab. If you want to have a private conversation with me, you can also do that. Just hook up or DM me, email me. There's always a way to get a hold of me to have a non-sales call to see if Strategic Profit Lab is ready for you. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon.